Blood is a connective tissue and it consists of fluid matrix, plasma, and formed elements. So, what are these formed elements? Formed elements are the cells, cell remnants, and cell fragments that are there in the blood. 95% of the formed elements are the RBC and the rest are your WBC. Now let us see the formed elements in detail. So formed elements of blood, we can group them into three. One, the erythrocytes, leukocytes, and thrombocytes. So erythrocytes, they're also called as the RBC. Erythrocytes are also called as red blood cells, RBC. These are found in the red bone marrow. The number is about 5.5 million RBCs per millimeter cube. In 1 microliter, you can find about 5.5 million RBCs. These erythrocytes do not have nucleus, they are anucleate. When these are formed by erythropoiesis, initially they have the nucleus, but as they mature, they lose nucleus to make more space for the hemoglobin. These are of biconcave shape. Both the sides of the surface of RBC are of concave shape. They have the pigment hemoglobin, which gives them the red color. The lifespan of erythrocyte is about 120 days. After 120 days, in the spleen they get destroyed, and therefore spleen is called as graveyard of RBC. Now we come to the second one, which is leukocytes. Leukocytes, as the name suggests, they lack hemoglobin, right? And they're also called as WBC since they lack hemoglobin. WBC is white blood cells. These cells are also formed in the bone marrow, but unlike erythrocytes, leukocytes are nucleated. The number of nucleocytes per millimeter cube of blood is just about 6 to 8 thousands. So the number is very less when we compare with RBC. These leukocytes are further divided to granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes are the leukocytes which have granular structures in them, and agranulocytes, as the name suggests, do not have these granules. So the granulocytes are of three types. One, the neutrophils, two, eosinophils, and three, the basophils. Neutrophils are maximum Neutrophils have phagocytic function. Any bacteria that enters into the or any kind of foreign body that enters into the system is fought by the neutrophils. So neutrophils are having the phagocytic function, and these are most abundant among the leukocytes, amounting to about 60 to 65% of WBC. So these have phagocytic function. Eosinophils also fight infections, and these amount to about 2 to 3% of WBC. So they resist infections. The basophils are just about 0.5 to 1% of WBC, and they are released during the inflammatory reactions. So these basophils secrete histamine, the serotonin, and heparin. So allergic functions. Allergy is due to histamine. Serotonin is a vasoconstrictor, and heparin is the anticoagulant. So these three are involved in the inflammatory reactions. Now coming to our agranulocytes, we have the monocytes and lymphocytes. Like the neutrophils, monocytes are also phagocytic in function. They eat the foreign bodies. The lymphocytes are of two types, the B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes. The B lymphocyte are responsible for the antibody mediated immunity, and the T lymphocyte are responsible for cell mediated immunity. So they play a very important role in our maintaining our immunity. Now coming to the last one, which is thrombocytes. Thrombocytes are also called as platelets. These are produced in the bone marrow. You have cells which are called as megakaryocytes. These megakaryocytes will further form the platelets. And the function of platelets is the coagulation. So platelets are very helpful for clotting of blood.